Welcome to EFT Expert Interviews, where we talk to renowned EFT practitioners on topics that can transform your life. These are live interviews where you can ask questions and get answers from the speaker. And feel free to ask any questions and make comments throughout the interview, not just at the end of the interview. I'm your host, Stefan Gonig from EFTalive.com and singletosoulmate.me. And today we're talking to Carol Look on the topic of tapping into emotional abundance, how to say yes to what you want. Carol Look is a psychotherapist, a founding EFT Master, world-renowned EFT Workshop presenter, and best-selling author of the books The Yes Code and Yes, Thank You. Known for her laser-like focus, Carol combines her psychotherapist training with 25 years of advanced applications of EFT to help clients release limiting beliefs and emotional conflicts so they can enjoy exceptional success and fulfillment. Her work and expertise are regularly featured on global telesummits and podcasts like this one. Welcome, Carol. It is so wonderful to have you.
Stefan, it's awesome being with you and your group.
Thank you so much. So I want to start with a question I always like asking, which is, how did you get started on this whole topic of something that you're calling emotional abundance?
I got started because it wasn't working. Something wasn't working about all the abundance work, all the success work, and something clicked finally. I mean, I'd heard about not that term emotional abundance, but I'd heard about, the idea of matching vibrations and the idea of really connecting and being in alignment. But this term that I use, emotional abundance, changed everything for me. So it's really about getting so connected to what you want emotionally that you feel as if it's there. You're excited, you embody it, you feel, oh, this is not going to happen in the future. This is happening. I have it. I'm already there. And it's all the, old Neville Goddard stuff and law of attraction and Esther Hicks and all that. But something clicked, something was different. And, you hear all the time how people say they want something, they've tried, they've pursued, they've done all this work for it, and it's not coming. Well, it's not coming because when you work for it and go after it and you're not feeling it, that's the matching vibration problem. That's when you're not matching your vibration. So anyway, I termed it emotional abundance, and it really clicked for my audience and for me, and a lot has changed, I would say.
Oh, so how would you define emotional abundance?
I would define it as that sense of alignment, that emotional abundance is, as I said, you're so excited with what you want, and you can feel it, and you're in it already. So it's not going to happen in 3 months. It's not going to happen next year. You're actually in it. Now people say, oh, but I don't want to pretend. No, we're not talking about pretending so much as literally being in it from an emotional state, because we know that emotions make memories. Emotions are what drive our memories, our thoughts of the future. Everything is connected to the emotional energy. And that's why sometimes even vision boards and visualization isn't enough, because that's just the pictures. So if you have not added the emotional abundance, the piece of feeling so abundant emotionally that you think, hey, it is in my life, I have it, I'm confident, I'm sure of it, then you're still creating the distance between what you want and how to get there.
It's interesting you define in terms of emotional energy. I have a degree in neurobiology, and one of the things that I learned when I was studying, the formation of memories, long-term memories in our system, how strong that memory was completely proportional to the emotional intensity of the experience. So it was all about the emotional energy. So it's interesting in neuroscience and what you're saying, correspond really well.
Well, we know that the mind and body don't know the difference between imagination and reality, meaning you could have a nightmare and you wake up and you actually think you were being chased, for a couple of seconds, right? Or something bad happens or you're fearful. You can feel it deeply, but it's not true. It's not real. So we want to feel it so deeply it feels true.
Cool. So you're talking a lot about alignment. So how does tuning into emotional abundance actually get you into alignment with more of what you want?
So I would say it's that idea of matching vibrations again. So people create this distance between where they are, who they are, what they want, and that thing they want is out there. So there's this constant, well, when I get there, and what do I have to do to get there? What do I have to do to manifest it? So there's this huge gap, and it's lack of alignment. Alignment means your feelings, thoughts, your body, you're there with what you want. And again, this could be material items, this could be money, this could be a relationship, this could be peace of mind, right? This could be, really gentleness, calmness in your life. So the alignment has to be not when I get there in 3 months or a year. It has to be, oh, I'm there. That sense of I'm there now. And the alignment is the piece that I think a lot of people, myself included, missed in all the law of attraction work. And if people don't believe in law of attraction, just notice what happens in your life when you're thinking about things, want things going on in your life. I think people really miss that idea of the matching vibrations. We got the impression, as I certainly did in my family growing up, work harder and you'll get it, whatever the it is, right? Go on more dates, right, to get someone to be with someone that you want. Work harder for the money, more hours. So it's not this distance. It's saying, oh, I'm in alignment with what I want. And when you feel it and you know it, it doesn't matter that it's a year away, 3 months away, a month away, because you know it. The confidence is the feeling. The confidence is that sense of, oh, it's sitting right next to me. I have it already in my mind. I'm there and I'm comfortable with it, because a lot of people want something, but if you really dig down, they're scared of it. So they've created that distance again between what they want, where they are, what they want, and when is it going to show up.
Sure. Yeah, in my work in helping people find their soulmate, that's a huge one. That's scared of, they desperately want their soulmate, and they're also very much scared of it at the same time. You have some comments already. I didn't. They came so fast. I didn't check for them yet. So here's the first one. This one says, "Yay! So happy to be here. Thank you for the invite."
Thank
By
you.
Danielle Wildlife. You. The next one says, "Go, Carol, shine your light and share your wisdom. I'm so grateful for you."
Thank you, Nancy.
Okay. And we have another one. I guess Nancy responded to Daniel. I second that. All right. So like I said, we welcome comments and questions at any point along the way as well. That's great.
Good.
Okay, so going back to what you were saying, actually, I was just as you're describing it, I was really tuning into that sense of distance. Like I'm here, my goal is way over there,
Yeah.
and there's this big separation, and I can see what you're talking about, where it feels like it's way over there, like I'm not,
Yeah.
yeah, not totally congruent or like fully owning it or something.
Absolutely.
It being so way out, far away from me.
And we're not taught that. So, I'm like everybody else who was raised in our culture, my family, the same thing about working really hard and put a goal out there and strive for it. So this is very scrambly for our brains. This is different.
Yeah, no, it really is. I mean, lots of times I work with people trying to help them with their goals, and it's, the way you're looking at it is different. And it's really interesting. So, just being familiar with your work, you've often said that one of the big problems with success coaching is that people are too involved in chasing instead of choosing. Would you say a little bit more about that?
That's that energy. The chasing is sort of a hyper energy. It's definitely I don't have it yet energy, right? It's I need to work really hard and go faster, and I need to chase the thing that's out there again. Whereas choosing is saying we have the freedom to choose how we feel every moment of the day. Yep, lots of things happen. I get it. A lot of crazy things going on in our lives. If you have families or live in this community, things are going on. But we can choose how to respond to it. But what we do instead is people are chasing what? Happiness, chasing financial abundance, chasing a relationship, right? Chasing whatever they're looking for, the car, the house, or, some kind of prestige. And the chasing energy is naturally repelling what you want. And it's another concept that it took me a long time to get. I mean, I'm the guinea pig always with this. So the chasing energy pushes things away, whereas the choosing says, I deserve it. I'm allowed to have it. I could see myself having it. Ooh, I can feel it already. And it's not, some people will say, oh, but it's not reality. All right, well, go back to reality if you want. I'm not talking about living this way 24/7. Yes, we have reality in our lives. But if you start doing that, using the notion of choice rather than chasing, you're going to feel the difference in the energy. So choosing brings things towards you, and chasing actually repels things.
Yeah, I can see what you mean by that, because chasing is kind of reinforcing the idea that it's a way away from you.
That's right.
You have to try and get there,
It
and
reinforces the lack. I think it was, I'm pretty sure it was famous Bob Proctor, who said, money goes where it's in, and let me get this, I want to get this right. Money goes where it's invited and stays where it's welcome. Well, when you think of what people are doing in chasing money, they're not inviting it, they are chasing it. And it's not welcome, it becomes a problem for them. They don't have enough, they have too much. Somebody wants it, somebody, bills come in. So the attitude and the vibration around money is complicated, but it doesn't have to be. Again, I understand reality about bills and mortgages, etc. I'm not talking about that. But if you're chasing, you're not inviting. So thanks to Bob Proctor for saying that phrase.
we got some more comments already. Let's see. Here's a question this time.
Yes.
Why are people afraid of good things? What makes people resist what they want? That's a good question.
Well, that goes to one of the questions you and I talked about preparing for this, is that we're wired for safety. We're not wired for success. So, to answer this question, if somebody is afraid of what's going to change or what's going to happen when they get what they want, then they will move heaven and earth to push it away. And it seems counterintuitive. People say, don't be silly. I have questions that I ask, don't be silly. Of course, I want it. Well, you may want it, but your behavior is showing otherwise. So there has to be a conflict, and we have to resolve the conflict.
Right. Well, so yeah, again, the soulmate thing, in my area, I always tell people the scariest person on the planet for you is your soulmate, because the stakes feel so high, right? If you meet somebody who goes, well, this person seems nice, then if it works out or not, you're not that worried about it, right? If the person likes you back, like that's usually the very first fear is, if I meet my soulmate, what if my soulmate doesn't like me, right? And if it really is my soulmate, the stakes feel, a mile high, or if this is some moderate situation.
Right.
Okay, so that's one of the reasons why, was one of the reasons in that particular topic as to why having what you want might be really scary, or at least coming face to face with what you want might feel really scary.
Well, it's a risk. So people spend years chasing what they want, and then they get close to it and they're like, I don't know if I want this. Well, what does that mean? You have to look at the fears. So when I talk about the safety versus, wired for safety rather than success, we have to look at, well, what's the questions that I always ask people, which is, what's the upside of staying stuck? And if you want to know why you're stuck, ask that question and go to the fears. Go to understand what's going on. Why would I sabotage myself? Why would I get in my own way? Or the reverse question, what's the downside of the success that I want? And people say, oh, no, there's no downside. You know I want it. I do know you want it. You keep telling me that you want it, and you keep getting in your own way. So there's got to be a catch. There has to be some perception of risk, or that it's not a good idea to get it. Someone will be jealous. Someone will be upset. So you have to ask those. Those are the best. Those questions changed my practice.
Yeah, I do a similar one with the soulmate things. I'll say it. Think about all the things that you're wanting in your ideal partner. Get really clear about it, and then close your eyes and imagine you're being introduced to somebody who has all those traits you're looking for in a partner, and then notice what your reaction is. And a person might feel some excitement, like, he or she is here finally, or more often the case, they'll just have all these fears start coming up. Like the one I said, well, what if the person doesn't like me? But then all of our fears around intimacy start appearing as well, because being with our soulmate, there's going to be, if it really is our soulmate, there's going to be the maximum opportunity for intimacy. So any fears we have around intimacy are going to flare up. And if they're really intense, really strong, then we're going to like back away big time and do things that sabotage ourselves and be a stumbling, bumbling mess when we try and talk to the person, things like that. And for success type stuff, I'll just say the same thing. Imagine your goal and then just imagine stepping into it. You're there. What comes up? And whatever internal objections that are present will usually emerge right away, which I'm guessing is very similar to what you do.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's see. We have another comment. Yes, when I don't feel it, how do I make myself feel it? Nancy.
Practice. So you construct, what's the idea? What does it look like? Use all your senses. What does it look like? What would it feel like if you had it? How are people responding to you? Be in it. Like, don't just see yourself in it, be in it. What would your world look like if you finally had what you want? Right? So it's not about making yourself, it's about a practice. Could you do it 5 minutes a day? I just finished one of my series and I said to them, 3 minutes a day. 3 minutes a day, practice this. You're like, oh, I can do that. Yeah. So it's not a 24 hours request. Couple minutes a day, practice the emotional abundance, and you're going to start to notice the shifts.
Okay, there's another one. Sorry, I just realized my mic was way away. I have a 4-year-old son who was in my office earlier. And he's on my microphone at the opposite end of his arm. Can you guys still hear me okay? Or better now? Okay. Carol, how have you used this process successfully of pretending / knowing the desires here while incorporating EFT?
How I do it is practice it, and then you can tap, right, to get any of the yes buts out of the way. That's what EFT is so famous for, right? Your objections, your negative feelings. So when people can't get there, you have to ask yourself why. Why are you not there yet? Why can't you imagine? Oh, because this seems stupid. All right, that's a tappable issue, right? So I use EFT before, during, and after if we need to, or do the exercise of getting into the emotional abundance. I have it. This feels fantastic. And then watch any objections that come up, that surface, and go ahead and tap on those, if that's answering the question.
That was good. Okay, here's another one. It says, yes, the energy of struggle and working too hard, which is chasing, doesn't work.
Right. Absolutely.
Yep. Another one by Psychic Craig Stamper, who says, thank you.
Hi, Craig.
And another one, Jane Ubelmeyer. Love this. Shift to choice, not chasing.
Thank you, Jane. Yes.
Okay, and another one. How do you know when you're chasing rather than just giving something its due, like in the money case, taking up extra hours?
Again, it's a vibration, right? So abundance is a vibration, and chasing has an anxious feel to it, I would say. If you're chasing it, you feel tense and anxious. If you need more money and you have a good attitude and you're taking some more hours, it's a great question. That's all you have to do, is change your attitude and vibration about it. Like, some people will come to me and they hate their jobs, right? You got to find something about that job that's positive. It's paying your rent. It's doing what you need it to do. You like a couple of the people there, right? So the energy of chasing doesn't feel good. And it feels like you're missing something. Let's go back to that notion of lack, missing, scarcity. Chasing feels like, I got to do this. I need more help. This isn't good. I don't have enough. I'm going to run out. Those are all chasing energies. So I would just say, give yourself a break and tweak a little bit, tweak your attitude, tweak, I have to go to do these extra hours. Well, how do I feel about it? Well, I'm proud of myself because I'm doing something I need to do. Oh, okay. Well, I like that one person at work. I don't like the other. Okay. I like the other people. So you find things that make it a little bit easier on you.
Also, ultimately, I imagine find a different job if you really, really dislike your job.
That's down the road. Yeah.
More still. Sound is better now, not so much scratchy feedback. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I just didn't even notice it because it's always here usually.
Yeah.
All right. Next comment is, thank you. Can you give a personal example of using this process successfully, please?
I have so many, it is hard to recognize. Yes. I would say this happened for me years ago about finances, where this is the story I tell in one of the books, where I added up my income for a year, and it was exactly the same income as I had the year before. And in private practice, that's impossible. Okay. Holidays fall on different days. You have reduced fees for some people. People leave, people come in, new people come in. It's not possible to make the exact same amount. And I knew I had a comfort zone. That's what the information that it gave me is like, oh, you're stuck. Right. So then I use this process, getting into emotional abundance, to feel like, oh, I can break that ceiling. Oh, I could see myself breaking that ceiling. What would it feel like? I had to ask myself serious questions. I didn't know what the block came from. I never knew my father's salary growing up. So it wasn't clear why I had that dollar amount as a block, but evidently I hit something that felt uncomfortable. So you have to ask yourself the questions. Well, what would it feel like if you doubled it? Whoa, doubled it? Yeah, okay, well then how about let's just go up 50%. So you have to play with it a little bit. I do this in the weight loss industry too, where people come in and say, I want to lose 40 pounds. Like, okay, picture yourself 40 pounds lighter. And they can. But if I say go down 10 pounds, they're like, go down 20 pounds. And they get all nervous and anxious because something's going on about them going down the scale. Well, you have to do that with money. So don't go up 100%. Go up 20% in your salary, go up 30%, go up 50%. And you have to get comfortable with it and feel it and say, that's doable. People are always talking about the seven-figure income, 8-figure income. Stop it. We have to go incrementally and then tap on what's uncomfortable on our way up. So I was answering Danielle. So lots of times. So every time I've had a breakthrough, it was because I used this process. I didn't work harder. Now I work hard, but I didn't work harder in order to get the breakthrough. I used this process.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, we have another one. This comment says simply, trying versus receiving, question mark?
Not sure what the question is. So trying is the chasing energy. Receiving is the choosing, is closely aligned with the choosing energy. So when you're open to receiving and you feel that you deserve to receive what you want, and you feel like it is coming, and you feel like you have the talent and you can have that, that's okay. You can sit with it. That's the receiving energy. The trying is back to the chasing. I have to try harder. I have to chase it. It's not going to come to me. It's not available. People in my family don't have that.
Okay, let's see. We have another one. And she wrote, brilliant. Thank you, Carol.
Thank you, Danielle.
Okay, so where were we? It's wonderful how many comments and questions you're getting. Let's see. So we defined emotional abundance, and we talked about how critical being in alignment is for success.
Yes.
Choosing rather than chasing. How do we get to the bottom of what blocks us from tuning into it?
Those are the questions. So ask yourself, what's the upside of being stuck? People say, there is no upside. Yes, there is, or else you wouldn't protect yourself. Let's go back to the wiring, right? We are wired for safety. So if you're afraid, if you're stuck, and people come to you and they come to me and other practitioners say, oh, I hate being stuck. Well, it must be serving you some way. So what's the upside? And the other question is what I said earlier. What's the downside of getting what you want? And that's the one people really object to. Don't be ridiculous. Of course, there's no downside to getting it. I've been working for years trying to get it. Yes, you have. You've been working towards it and chasing it, but you haven't embodied it and you don't feel like you deserve it. You don't feel like you belong there. Oh, there is a downside. Why would there be a downside?
Or it doesn't feel safe, as you were saying before.
People don't feel safe with other people's reactions to their success.
Right. All right. So what are some common limiting beliefs that block us from saying yes to what we want?
So I put everything in categories: the feelings, emotional conflicts, limiting beliefs, and behaviors. If you want different results, you have to change one of those, right? So the feelings we talked about were, fear of success. Everyone thinks it's fear of failure, but a lot of us have fear of success. I, of course, had both. Fear of success, fear of visibility, fear of standing out. What's going to happen when I do get what I want? Like you said, the soulmate, right? The money, the job promotion, the opportunities. What's going to happen? So those are the feelings, usually fears. Sometimes people have guilt. They'll say, but I already have them. Shouldn't I be grateful for what I already have? Sure. And you can have more too, right? But the guilt starts to come up. The limiting.
That probably comes up a lot when you have a sibling that's not doing as well as you are in their life or something.
Siblings, close colleagues, friends. So then the limiting beliefs sound like, oh, I have to struggle. This can't be easy. Right? That's a belief, right? Oh, nobody in my family can ever be successful, so I can't be either. I don't have what it takes. So again, keep asking the questions and see what pops up. I don't have what it takes to be successful. Well, if that's what you believe and feel, then you're embodying that, which is the opposite of emotional abundance. Right? So the questions, you go from the questions, then the answers show you, are you emotionally abundant or not? If you say, there'll never be enough for me, and that's what my father or mother taught me, you're in it, but you're not in emotional abundance. You're in something else.
Right. And that's where EFT then would come into play.
Yes.
All right. We have another comment or question. We'll see. I had a huge block this week, and I'm using EFT just to get out of this blockage. So thank you for reminding me to keep going deeper. So step by step, not there yet, but working on it.
Great. Thank you, Jane. Yeah, we got the impression, everybody got the impression years ago, like, oh, you could do 3 minutes of EFT and your problems are all solved. That's not life, right? That's not what happens. If you live, we were just talking about kids and children, and I have 15 nieces and nephews. Guess what? There's a lot going on in my life, and I have a job and a family, and so it's not one step. 5 minutes EFT, we're done. It's a process. And when you really go deeper, you really change things at that fundamental level. As you know, with your work with relationships, that is not a quickie. That is not something that happens quickly.
All right. So we've asked the right questions. We found the real reasons we don't have the results that we've been wanting, that we haven't, fulfilled our goal. So how do we turn this around and start tuning into emotional abundance?
Stefan, it really is practice. And if you don't want to and you feel yourself resistant, it's like tapping for me, or for everybody. I give myself and other people the homework. You need to do tapping every day, not an hour, not a half an hour, right? But you need to do it. You need to be in it, right? So to turn it around, you need to practice this. And if you find yourself going, 10 o'clock at night, oh, I didn't do that little 3-minute exercise Carol suggested. Oh, well, I'll do it tomorrow. That's how people don't go to the gym for weeks and weeks and weeks. That's how people don't do their practices. That's how clutter builds up, because we don't do it every day. So the practice of simply getting into emotional abundance, it's so simple, like EFT, so simple that people say, oh, that's cute. They don't get how profound it is to change your life, how you can change your life. I mean, I'm an example. I'm an example of changing almost everything in my life through these practices and through EFT. Did it happen overnight? No, of course it didn't. Right? The first thing I cured on myself with tapping was insomnia. And I wasn't even working on insomnia. I was working on everybody else's anxiety, because I was a hypnotist, and people would come to me for weight loss, anxiety, and quit smoking. So I'd go do my little hypnosis stuff with everybody. And then I'd say to them, this was early on in the field, and I'd say, let me do this new technique that I learned. And if you don't like, I'll do it for 5 minutes for you for cravings. And if you don't, or anxiety, and if you don't like it, I'll give you the 5 minutes at the end of the session. So what could they say? They said, sure, no problem. And they came back week after week saying, what on earth are you doing? Right. And I, because I was working on their anxiety, ended up sleeping. I wasn't working on my insomnia problem. And I woke up one day and I thought, that's weird. I think I fell asleep last night. Well, what I was doing is I tap on myself. The other person sits in front of me and taps on their body. So I'm tapping on anxiety, on worry, on fear, on cravings. And so that's the first thing that was a surprise, but that happened for me. So practice. We're back to that question about practice. How do you do it? You have to do it, right? Like going to the gym, you got to go to the gym if you want to do that. So I have certain practices that I do every day. That's one of them. My gratitude list, my tapping. I walk outside even in the dead of winter in New York. So if you find yourself resistant and, oh, I don't feel like doing it, you have to look at that. Why would you not feel like doing something 3 minutes? The easiest thing you could possibly do, which is use your imagination, get into the feelings. And, I guess I can't guarantee it works, but, read 50 books on the law of attraction and you'll see, look at people's lives who've used it. As I say, cleared insomnia. I used to go up and down on the scale with weight. When I finally got to the deepest parts, I mean, I'm a lot older now, and now I have kept the weight off for 10, 15 years. But I was yo, 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 right? So you have to do it. You have to practice it, right? Calmness, opportunities, financial abundance. Like, really, take any area in your life, and when you clear this stuff, and you can imagine being abundant in that part of your life that you don't have, and you're not going to the don't have. That's when things start to get aligned. That's when things start to happen. And again, Stefan, I am always the first guinea pig with this stuff. And I made tons of errors. I made mistake after mistake, and I tried and tried, like Nancy was saying, and I chased, and I worked harder and harder and burnt myself out, right, until I figured this out. So, I guess don't take my word for it. Everybody can practice it, but you want to see changes? That's the other thing. When I say that to people, I say, if you do this, things are going to change and you will rock the boat. And sometimes that's enough for them to say, oh, that's why I'm not doing it. It will work. I will change, and other people are going to be upset. That's the sequence.
So let's make sure I got it right. You're talking about doing this daily practice, and sort of imagining being in alignment. Imagine choosing it and being and embodying it, and I'm there, right? Not that it's way off out in the future. But I imagine if doing that exercise daily, that there's going to be things that will come up as you attempt to do, especially in the beginning.
Yeah.
But as you attempt to get into alignment, the internal objections and fears and things like that will start to rise up.
Totally.
So I'm guessing you would then, in that situation, shift your focus of the tapping onto whatever fear or negative belief or objection came up. Is that right?
Yes. The reason to do it for only 3 to 5 minutes is because usually after that, we start to wander, we start to go someplace, we start to say, this is silly, I'm not really feeling it. So that's why to do it in short bursts. Then you'll get an objection, maybe. Like my biggest objection was, really, it's not happening. My biggest objection was impatience. This is not happening fast enough. Well, if you want to slow down abundance coming into your life, be impatient. It's the actual, it's the chasing energy. It's the I don't have it yet energy. Hurry up, universe, bring it to me, right? So practice it. Do your tapping on your anxiety, your stress levels, what's going on. What is your yes, but? That's what I work with people. What's your yes, but about doing this exercise, which, by the way, is not my exercise. I just call it emotional abundance. It's been around for decades and decades. I don't know. It's been around forever, I guess. People using their imagination to feel good and embody what they want, but it is particularly a law of attraction, exercise.
We got more comments coming in. In fact, I lost track of where I was. Here we go. By the way, if I skip somebody, please just repost your comment whenever you want to. All right. So this person wrote, this is Danielle again. When in a tapping session, sometimes my body can feel the release before my brain, intellect, mind registers it. Why is this?
Because our nervous system runs the whole show. Our mind is thoughtful, thinking, analyzing, trying to do this, figuring it out. And our body is the nervous system. So the nervous system, you yawn, you feel a little stretch, you feel the release, you feel some, temperature changes, hot and cold. And then your mind catches up and goes, oh, I know what that was. That must be from the tapping.
Okay. Let's see. Here's another one. Does the potency of the effects of EFT increase if we tap in front of a mirror?
Not the potency, but what I don't think. But what I say to people, because I'm in New York City and I've helped a lot of people who are on serious Wall Street jobs or they have to ride the subway or whatever they're doing, I have them look in the mirror, do tapping. So now they know what they look like doing it, which means they can take it into their imagination life. All my clients know what I look like doing tapping because they're sitting across from me or they're on Zoom. So look in the mirror, do it. Then you can close your eyes on the subway or in a special meeting or with your boss or wherever you are, and you can go, dun, 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 you can feel yourself moving through it. You can't prove that it improves the potency. It might. I don't know. Great question though, Danielle. Great.
Here's the next one. Okay. From Nancy. She writes, yes, it makes me laugh when folks say I want something different, but I don't want to change.
Yes. Welcome to being human, everybody. Welcome to being human, right?
Okay, here's another one from Margaret, or Margit, maybe, Margaret. Hi, Carol. Greetings from Vienna.
Hello, Margit.
Thanks for reminding me about all these important aspects.
Good. They really are important. It's why, I know some people would say, how could you forget to do your tapping, Carol? Because I feel really good most of the time. I wear this funny little Casio $10 watch every day, which means if it's still on my wrist, I haven't done it. I have not done my tapping if that's on my wrist, right? I do my meditation first thing in the morning. I do tapping throughout the day. And Margit, we need the reminders. I need the reminders. When you're doing well, sometimes you don't think about going to do something to help yourself. And then in deep crisis, you don't think about tapping. When you're really anxious, I don't reach up and think of doing my tapping. I'm anxious. I'm in a crisis. I'm in a problem, right? So that's why I say do it every single day, rain or shine. There's no room for me. I cannot, if I stop doing, because that's my personality. If I stop doing it 2 days in a row, watch out, Stephan. I swear I will forget doing it. Same with my walking, my speed walking, same with my meditation. So I'm a 7-day-a-week girl on my practices. I'm taking care of myself.
I know one of the things I talk about with people is that the biggest challenge of using EFT is remembering to use it.
And I would say that those people have had an experience of it working well, and there's a glitch there. There's a conflict about using it when you know it does so well. In other words, your life is, everybody listening, and all your audience knows this. If you use it, things are going to change for the better. Your sleep, your physiology, your cravings, your relationships, your reactivity, real life that happens, people getting sick in your life, people having crises, things going on, things are going to change because you're going to change your reactivity and your stress levels. And people have a response to that. When you no longer play with bad boundaries with people, when you no longer accept bad behavior, poor behavior, people notice it. When you take care of yourself instead of going out late or doing things that aren't good for you, it's like your body knows it and your people in your life notice it.
Well, I was thinking of an example that you actually shared from your life where you were almost missed a flight to teach a workshop.
I remember that.
Right. You were like running around like crazy trying to go to the customer service, this and that, and finally resolved it. And then once you calmed down, you went, oh, I could have tapped. And but it was including when you were waiting in line to talk to customer service. It's all stressed and anxious. And even in that moment, you still didn't remember to go, oh, wait a minute.
Right.
I can calm down right now if I want to. Hard to just remember.
Remember that in crisis, the brain goes full fight or flight. The nervous system has been engaged. The amygdala, the brain is going bananas. You are not thinking that's the point. And that's why I do tapping every single day. And then I hit one of those crises and I'm calmer overall by a million times. And then I'm more likely to remember even to just do a little bit. I don't have to be in, the customer service line and do the whole thing and tap it and do this. You can just do a little bit of tapping. As I say, I had a client who was getting divorced and was in a terrible legal battle in court. And I taught her how to do tapping, and she did it under the table. And she said, I do not know where I would have been without doing this under the table, right? So you don't have to do, all the rounds and a full 15 minutes of it. Just do little shortcuts, right? But that story, I will never forget that story. I will never forget that story. They canceled my flight on the way to a teaching workshop, and I forgot to do EFT. It was a good example. Very good example.
Well, it was memorable because I remembered it from like
Definitely.
10 or 15 years ago whenever you shared it.
Yeah.
All right. One of the things that you offered to do was some kind of a tapping example to tune into emotional abundance for everyone.
Good. All right. So what we want to do, and as you know, as we do this work, you want to release what's in the way of stepping beautifully and easily into emotional abundance. So some people might say, that's silly. So the belief is that's silly and it won't work. That's resistance, right? And there are many others like that. So I think what we could do is do one on resistance, and then it'll blanket everybody. We all have resistance to feeling better. Many of us are feeling better step at a time, moving through our lives. But I think if we did basic tapping on, I feel resistance to stepping into emotional abundance, I think that would be useful.
Okay, sounds good.
Unless if you know your audience better and you think, no, let's do some tweak it, I'm fine.
No, I think you're right on.
All right. So everyone think of tuning into emotional abundance, what we've been talking about. And if you have any, I'm not really, I don't really want to do it, and now's the time to turn off the video, anything that is getting in your way. Oh, how could that work when I'm in a dire situation? Whatever your resistance is, tune into your resistance. We can even just call it stress, right? Your resistance, your stress about it, your skepticism about it. See if you can measure it 0 to 10. Yep, mine's pretty high. I'm about an 8. I heard you, but I may not do it. And then we just go for the regular tapping. So you be my echo?
Sure.
Even though I'm resistant to emotional abundance.
Even though I'm resistant to emotional abundance.
What if it doesn't work for me?
What if it doesn't work for me?
I accept who I am and how I feel.
I accept who I am and how I feel.
Even though I'm not sure emotional abundance is going to work for me.
Even though I'm not sure that emotional abundance is going to work for me.
I accept who I am and how I feel.
I accept who I am and how I feel.
Let me go to the eyebrow. Oh, so I know a lot of people start up here. I start here and I have for years. And then I saw Gary Craig at a workshop and he was starting on the top of the head. Right here. I have resistance to emotional abundance.
I have resistance to emotional abundance.
What if it doesn't, side of the eye, what if it doesn't work for me?
What if it doesn't work for me?
I'm not sure I'm going to try it.
I'm not sure I'm going to try it.
The truth is I'm afraid to feel a lot better.
The truth is I'm afraid to feel a lot better.
No wonder I have this resistance. Yes.
Somebody I think is requesting a line to be added to our tapping. Let me just say what it is. It's impossible to get out of this situation and to where I want to be.
Mm-hmm. I have this resistance to emotional abundance.
I have this resistance to emotional abundance.
It's not going to work for me. It's impossible.
It's not going to work for me. It's impossible.
So why bother?
So why bother?
It's impossible to work for me.
It's impossible to work for me.
No wonder I feel this resistance about practicing it.
No wonder I feel this resistance about practicing it.
Okay, take a breath. So any words that work for you, resistance, stress, it's impossible, but those are all beliefs. And the fears, the emotional conflicts would be, I'm afraid to actually have it work. I'm afraid this could work. I had a client say, Stefan, I'm sure you get this. What if I've been doing it the wrong way for 20 years and it was this simple? And that's their resistance. They don't want it to work. They're fighting for their limitations because they say, it can't be this simple. I'm sorry. I had those similar feelings. It is that simple. You have to be consistent. It's not one day, right? But that is the principle of energy and the principle of law of attraction and the principle of matching vibrations and alignment. So anyway, so let's do it one more time.
Okay.
Even though I still have resistance to stepping into emotional abundance,
Even though I still have resistance to stepping into emotional abundance,
I'm not sure I want it.
I'm not sure I want it.
I'm not sure it's going to work for me.
I'm not sure if it's going to work for me.
I accept who I am and how I feel.
I accept who I am and how I feel.
Even though I feel this resistance to doing the exercise,
Even though I feel this resistance to doing the exercise,
I accept who I am and how I feel.
I accept who I am and how I feel.
I feel resistance to doing the exercise.
I feel resistance to doing the exercise.
What if it doesn't work for me?
What if it doesn't work for me?
What if it's too late?
What if it's too late?
What if it's just impossible to make any headway?
What if it's just impossible to make any headway?
What if it's not?
What if it's not?
What if it is possible?
What if it is possible?
What if it's possible and probable?
What if it's possible and probable?
I love knowing this could work for me.
I love knowing that this could work for me.
Now let's do a little of my gratitude tapping. Eyebrow point. I love knowing that the universe is sending me a solution.
I love knowing that the universe is sending me a solution.
Thank you, universe, for sending me what I needed to know.
Thank you, universe, for sending me what I needed to know.
I appreciate the universe for sending me what I needed.
I appreciate the universe for sending me what I needed.
Thank you, universe, for sending me the signs
Thank you, universe, for sending me the sign
that this is the right thing to do,
that this is the right thing to do,
that I can turn it around.
that I can turn it around.
I'm so grateful for the progress I'm making.
I'm so grateful for the progress I'm making.
And I'm so grateful for all the blessings I have in my life.
And I'm so grateful for all the blessings I have in my life.
Deep breath. And then everybody would go back and measure that sense of resistance, that reluctance and resistance that they had, whether they called it stress or I don't want to go there, or the belief this is impossible, and measure again and just see if you're moving on that scale, and then keep doing that. And then try the exercise. 3 minutes, 5 minutes, right? Something really short, really quick. And again, I just have to say that for me, like I'm a living example. I worked hard. I grew up with that ethic, right? And I've changed everything, not because I don't work hard, right? I still work hours and I still get things done, but because I added this to the recipe and it changed everything. Mm-hmm. I say to people, you all have skill sets too. We all have skill sets. I'm not different.
We have some more comments that came through while you were tapping.
Good.
Let's see. It's always challenging finding these. Just scroll through. Let's see. So it's. Wait. Here we go. It's impossible is a belief. Fabulous info. Thank you.
Yes, it's impossible. It'll never happen for me. I'm convinced it's impossible is a belief. So use it as a target. For EFT to be really effective, you want to choose a feeling, a belief, a symptom, right? Or the memory of an event. Maybe you tried to do an exercise like this and someone said, oh, Carol, that stuff is so dumb. Why would you, right? Well, that's a memory of an event, small t trauma, where you got, discouraged out of doing some of these practices that work.
Yeah, I think one of the challenges for people is that lots of times these negative beliefs can be subtle and hard to get in touch with. Like I had one that I discovered for myself from my childhood was that I had this belief that and it came up every time I learned a new technique. When I learned EFT, when I learned every technique I've ever learned, is that this technique is fantastic. It'll work for everybody else, but it won't work for me.
Isn't that interesting?
And so every time I learn a new belief, a new technique, he's like, even though it's going to work for everybody else, but not for me, I have to go through that again over and over again.
Yeah.
But for a long time, I didn't know it was even there, and I just felt stuck.
Yeah.
So once I figured it out, it's like, in fact, I didn't figure out. Somebody at an event helped me recognize that, and which is why sometimes it's hard to do everything by ourselves. As much as EFT is a great self-help tool.
Yeah, it's hard to be doctor and patient at the same time. And one of the ways to get around that a little bit is to ask the questions. Just do journaling, ask the questions. What's the upside of staying stuck? Go ahead and object to that. Carol, that's a dumb question. Fine. What's the upside of being stuck? How does it serve me? What's the downside of actually getting what I want? Ooh, It's dangerous. It would be scary. Somebody doesn't want it for me. Someone will react to me. Okay. All right. So get some of those answers and they all become your tapping targets.
And pose those questions to yourself with compassion.
Thank you.
It's
Yes.
very easy to go with being judgmental about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, what's the upside for, of being stuck? Damn it. It's kind of like that
Well,
energy behind the question. And you want to do it with compassion for yourself.
yes.
Because we're not doing these things on purpose. They're just there for whatever happened to us in the past is what caused us to have these fears and negative beliefs and things. Let's see. Here's another one from Nancy. She wrote, Carol, tapping with you is some kind of magic. I started yawning almost right away.
Good. Yawning is one of those signs, thank you, Nancy, of moving energy. Right?
Okay, another one from Nancy. Whoops. I heard in my head, what if I feel too good?
Okay.
Aha.
Yeah. So, what's the downside of feeling too good? What does that mean to you? What's your perception of that? What's the danger in that? What's going to change? Whose boat are you going to rock? Absolutely. What if I feel really good all the time? And this is upsetting. That's what's confusing. I'm glad you brought up the compassion because 100% of human beings have upsides and downsides to our behavior, right? So once you know that and you understand that criticizing ourselves gets us nowhere, then asking the questions with compassion becomes a different exercise. Like, oh, all right, everybody does this. Oh, great. Okay, Stefan and Carol do this too. Yep. All of us.
All of us.
So just go ahead and say, what's the upside? What's the downside? Oh, I might feel too good. Then finish the sentence. And if I feel too good, that might be bad because I always find a because for people. Why would that be uncomfortable? Why would doubling your income feel uncomfortable? Why would standing out feel scary? Answering all those questions. So thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So this concludes, I think, the basic interview part. Next, we're going to do the live Q&A, though people have been doing fantastic asking questions along the way. But we are going to do live Q&A, but I'm aware that not everybody's going to stick around for that. So in between, I wanted to bring up just a couple of transitional things. First is, how can people learn more about you, Carol?
So carollook.com is an easy place. They can also go to Yes, Thank You is the second book, so they can go get that, which is at the www.theyescode.com/thank you. And what they can do, you don't have to buy the book everywhere. I'd love it if you bought the book, but you actually don't have to. Go there and put your name and email, and you'll go to the portal where I have videos, free videos with tapping for gratitude tapping for that book. There's another portal for the first book, The Yes Code, which is my coaching method. So that's a fun gift for people if they want to go there.
And there's a link to it in the description of this video, so don't worry if weren't able to write it down fast enough. Both of Carol's website URLs are there as well. And in fact, here's what she wrote about the free gift. In connection with one of Carol's recent best-selling books, there is a portal with free videos on how to clear blocks to tuning into the vibration of gratitude to dramatically improve the results you get in your life. And as Carol just said, you don't need to buy the book. You can just do all these videos. I'm guessing you can still get a lot of value out of buying the book on top of watching the videos.
Absolutely. Thank you. Of course, I'd love that. But it's just nice to know you could get some free videos that would really help you in this direction too, if you can't buy the book.
All right. A couple more things. I have 2 free gifts myself that you can read about in the description of the video. I'm not going to get into it now. If you like this interview, please like the video because it helps spread it around, because it's not just the live part. The video become a permanent video.
Okay.
And more and more people can see Carol's work, which is awesome. The next interview is with Jackie Crooks on the topic of tapping into ancestral healing, clearing your past to transform your future. It's on November 22nd of 2025. If you'd like to get notified of these upcoming interviews, and they're already scheduled through well into 2026. I plan to do this for a couple of years. You can subscribe to my channel, and also in the description of the video, at the very bottom of the description, there's a link to sign up for email notifications. All right, so enough of that stuff. So if you have any questions, there's an opportunity to ask more from Carol.
Thank you, Stefan. A lot of great stuff. I'm glad you're doing this. I put the link in my emails to people too if they want to sign up for the whole series and to keep going. So
Yeah. Thank you so much for doing that. So anybody, I mean, you guys asked so many wonderful questions throughout the interview, so you may have already used up all your questions, I guess. But for those, there's a lot of people watching who haven't made a comment or asked a question, and a lot of times people are like a little shy about, asking their question. Maybe they think, oh, maybe this is kind of a dumb question or something like that. No such thing as dumb questions. All questions are good. So feel free to ask a question or make a comment while we still have Carol on the line with us.
And again, if you're brand new to EFT, which a lot of people aren't on your channel, but go do those videos. And there's a how-to, very basic about stress, and then afraid of saying no, and some gratitude tapping. So they're a lot of fun. So for people who are new, sometimes it's intimidating. We call it this simple, easy technique. Sometimes people don't think anything new is simple. So go practice, right? Go practice and see if you can do the tapping on your own as well.
Okay. We got one. Here we go. Okay, so Danielle writes, tap on the feeling of being concerned about asking your question. Right? Yeah. That's true. Just go ahead and with your non-dominant hand. Well, actually, if you're typing, I guess you need both hands. But yeah, we really welcome your questions. Okay. All right. Well, one other opportunity to ask questions is in the comments on the video after the interview's over. Carol, would you be willing to respond to some people's questions and comments?
Absolutely.
All right. So the way that it would work the best is after we end the interview and you wait a little bit for YouTube to convert it from a YouTube Live into just a regular video, then post a comment yourself saying, please ask your questions as a reply to this comment. Because then you'll get notified rather than you just periodically go, I wonder if there's any comments. And that way, yeah, you won't have to come back and check all the time.
So they'll come to me because I'm not on YouTube.
Oh, you're not on YouTube at all? Oh, wow. Okay. All right. But how would you respond to comments then if...
I don't know. That's why I'm asking now. I suddenly thought, does that mean I have to be on YouTube? I'm not on anything.
I see. No social media. Right. Okay. How about this? If people ask questions on as a comment on the video, I will forward the questions to Carol as an email. She'll reply to it to me, and I'll post her answer.
Great. I certainly will. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Carol. This was an awesome interview and just so super helpful.
What a pleasure, Stefan, seeing you after a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Thank you.
All right. And thanks everybody for being here. And oops. We got one. Okay. This is Danielle. And she wrote, Carol, how does your business thrive without being on social media?
Social media is a drag and a drain of my energy. So my business thrives through my vibration, my energy, and my newsletter list. And I overheard someone at a conference saying, she came over to a group of people. She said, I heard you guys all talking about Facebook and Instagram and everything. Can I just butt in? And they said, sure. She had advice. She said, stop going to Facebook and get a newsletter list. That's where your buyers are going to be. And it was very interesting because I was standing in the background and I was like, that's what I do. So my business thrives through my energy, my vibration, and offering, good products to people. And I do series, I do the books. So it's a lot of fun to do that. I don't have the emotional energy. There it is. I don't have the emotional energy to be on Facebook. I'm not interested. And people, when they're honest, they say, oh yeah, it doesn't really get me that much. And it's very anxiety. People are very anxious about it. Oh, I got to be on it. I got to be on it. That's fine. I don't have a problem with anybody else being on it, but I don't want anyone to require that I'm on it.
So I would agree that Facebook doesn't get a lot for you unless you're willing to buy ads and have really well-functioning funnels and blah, blah, blah. I do have to say, in counter to what Carol just said, that I'm on YouTube. I've got about 160 videos on YouTube, and I get a lot of, people coming to me through my YouTube videos. So I think of all the social media venues, I would say YouTube is one of the most effective because you know Carol's what came from the earliest days of EFT, so she has a lot of notoriety and very well known, and just having a website was a lot. She gets invited to conferences and podcasts and everything, right? So there's a lot of stuff that helps her.
I'm
But
getting back on you. I'm getting back on YouTube. So I was on it years ago, and I'm starting a new channel, but not yet. So there's nothing to
good.
announce yet. But that's the only one I'm going to get back on.
Yeah, because that one it's actually productive.
Yes.
You really do get visibility and people coming to you. So that's my
Good.
two cents.
Good.
All right. Again, thanks you everybody. Hope to see you all in the next interview or one of the next upcoming interviews.
Thank you, Stefan. Take care, everyone.
Thanks.